Ladies, gentlemen, boys, and girls, we're here to answer more of your questions, give a bit of love, give a bit of advice. Let's start with this one. According to Rate by Fresh app, I am a 7.5 out of 10 in the face, which it says puts me in the top 10% of men. I'm 6'2". I can bench 225 pounds for a set of 5. I have good fashion. I got a professional photographer to take some photos of me. I got Tinder Premium, and I barely get any matches and no dates. I'm going to keep getting better, but this is really disheartening. Yeah, man, you are going to keep getting better. You know why? Because you're a fucking warrior. You are a lion. You don't quit. You are Lev the King, as your username says. You're going to keep on going. But let's have a little bit of a discussion about disappointment, about not getting what you want, about feeling entitled to results and they don't come in, and then you feel frustrated. You want to talk about frustration? Try making a Tinder account, putting all of your time and effort into taking pictures and getting 0 matches. That is how my Tinder journey started. Try using all the dating apps and no one's really interested in you. And when I say 0 matches, I quite literally mean 0 matches. See how that feels. Try starting a dating and sex business and you pour your heart and soul into lots of articles, and it takes you a good year to work up the courage to actually start asking people for money because you're so terrified. You finally start getting a couple of customers or clients and they're only paying you like $10 an hour, but you're hustling, you're grinding. And then the world goes into a global pandemic and shuts down, and everybody says dating is illegal, especially in my country. And you go, holy fuck, what the fuck? How am I going to pay the bills? You lose your job because they shut down everything and you can't get another job, and you go, what the fuck? That's very disheartening. You talk about being in the top 10% of men. Try going bald and feeling very disheartened about that and very insecure and all of that, and feeling very uncomfortable and hating yourself and looking in the mirror and always feeling like you have to wear a beanie because you hate your appearance so much. You talk about benching 225 pounds. Try going to the gym for the very first time and you can't even do a push-up. And not just a normal push-up, but you can't even do a female push-up where you put your legs or your knees on the ground. You can't even push. And the person that you're with, the coach says, come on, push. And you go, I'm trying. I can't. I think I'm really weak. You try doing a pull up and you fucking can't even get close to beginning to even start the movement. You can't even begin to do a chin up. And so the point that I'm making here, my friend, is I know all about disappointment. I know all about frustration. I know all about disheartened. Try being depressed and suicidal and going to prison. That's a little bit disheartening. And I say all of this not to compare. Your journey is your journey. My journey was my journey. Tons of my coaching clients and people watching this channel right now would look at what you've written and be like, bro, what the fuck? I would give anything to have an app tell me that I'm a 7.5. I do the app and the app tells me I'm a 1 out of 10. You know, you're 6'2". Bro, I'm 4 foot fucking 11, or I'm 5'3" and I feel really insecure about it. Bro, you're 6'2". You can bench 225 pounds for a set of 5. Bro, I can't even fucking get out of bed because I have, you know, fibromyalgia or something like that, or cancer. You know, I worked with a guy who had cancer. Any of these sort of things. And again, I'm not saying this to diminish the pain and the suffering and the disheartenment that you're feeling right now, but I'm saying this to help you connect with other people and realize that you are not alone in your suffering. A lot of the time when we feel disheartened, we feel personally victimized by the world or the dating app or whatever, and we feel like it's just me alone in my suffering. No, my friend, that's the point that I'm trying to get at here. You are not alone in your suffering. I even did an article on this called I Am Always Full of Doubt, and I specifically talked about how all my life I have had doubts about my own ability or competency from the very first moment that I started self-improvement. I have had so many moments like what you talk about here. You know, I'm feeling disheartened. I know I'm going to keep getting better. I'm going to keep improving, but I'm frustrated. I've been there. This article talks about a lot of them, and I wrote this years ago. There's, you know, lots more after this, especially building the business. Oh my God, my friend, so many moments of, you know, disheartenment and stuff like that in building up this business. But I promise you that you're not uniquely alone in feeling disheartened. I promise you. I know it feels like that. It feels like, man, come on, I'm attractive, I can bench, I'm hot, I'm tall, I have good fashion, I've taken good pictures, or you say you've taken good pictures, I would need to look at them. 9 times out of 10, if someone isn't getting good matches, it's either because they're in a small city with not enough people, or they're not actually swiping and messaging people enough and using boosts and all of that, or they have shitty pictures, but they think they have good pictures. Like 9 times out of 10, it's just that your pictures are not as good as they could be. And you think they're really good because you paid a professional photographer, but the pictures look very staged or they look very like stock photo. Anyway, separate discussion. It's usually because your pictures aren't very good. But I understand you feel like, man, I put in all this fucking effort, bro. I've made myself hot as fuck. I go to the gym. I did what everybody told me to do. I'm taking the good pictures. I've, got a 7 out of 5 or 7.5 out of 10 in terms of the face picture fucking app thing. What the fuck, man? And what this all leads to is the fact that this process, this self-improvement process, nobody promised you that you would get the results that you wanted when you wanted them. All that was promised is that if you keep improving, the results will eventually come. Now, we don't know when they will come. We don't know what you might have to do to get them. Everybody's journey is unique. Roughly the same stuff applies. Look good, go talk to lots of girls. And if the dating apps aren't working for you, go the fuck outside and approach women. There's infinite women outside. Go talk to them. Boom, done. You would get a date in the next week or two, especially if you're in the top 10% of men. You're 6'2", you have a great body and you can bench press. You have great fashion. Bro, if the dating apps aren't getting you matches, go the fuck outside and just be like, hi, I'm a Chad. I'm a 6'2" Chad who's 7.5 out of 10 in my face and I'm top 10% of men and I can bench 225. Maybe you don't say all that to her. Maybe she giggles and goes, cool, look at your confidence. Sure, I'd love to go on a date with you, but go the fuck outside. But nobody promises us the results that we want when we want them. Believe me, brother, I know exactly how you're feeling. Everything I just said to you at the start of this podcast, some of the disheartened moments that I've felt, the moments I've felt entitled to success, but it hasn't come yet. I have been there. Dude, I have done 1,600 pieces of free content. It's more than that now, but I've done at least 1,600 pieces of free content. This YouTube channel has 800 fucking videos. There's like 600 podcasts on my Spotify channel. There are like 500 articles on my website on killyourinnerloser.com. There is like several hundred emails that I've sent to my email newsletter list. None of that includes all of the free coaching that I've done, the live streams, the fucking voice messages that I've recorded for people that email me and they're going through a tough time. The free coaching I'm doing like right now, I'm giving you free advice, like all of that shit combined. And it is only really in the last like 6 months that I've gotten to some sort of point of consistency with income and not stressing as much about paying the bills. And I still have some big tax debt that we're slowly paying off over time. So I'm by no means rich. I'm very, very happy with how much I earn. And I'm very, very, very grateful for every single person who ever gives us money and helps support Imogen and Cam and I and all of that. But I'm not rich. And I could sit there and point to other people and say, they have 1 million followers on their channel and I've done way more videos than them and poured my heart and soul into way more content. I could say, how come they get more money and they're rich and all of this, and I still sometimes feel stressed from money and can't sleep and go, fuck, when am I going to get the next coaching client? What do I have to do to get them? All right, I got to give even more to my audience and help them even more. And then hopefully that will be rewarded. And I'm trusting that on blind faith. I have been there, my friend. And I could easily tell a story that I am suffering and that I'm feeling disheartened and all of that. But I choose to focus on what I can control. And what I can control is getting better, playing the numbers game more, helping more people. In your case, that would be going outside and talking to women, using Tinder Boost. You're welcome to pay me for a coaching call. I think I already replied to you or I got Cam to reply on my behalf and tell you to just hit me up for a $200 coaching call and I can sit down and actually look at your pictures and give you proper advice. I don't know what your pictures are like in a YouTube comment. I can't really help you properly. Like I can just give you vague general advice like I'm giving you here. But do whatever it is that you need to do and do whatever you can do to improve and keep improving. I already told you you're going to do that. You already know you're going to do that. I'm going to keep getting better. Yeah, you fucking are, because you're a fucking warrior, my friend. But do whatever it is that you need to do to improve. And start having more of a curiosity mindset rather than an entitlement mindset. And I'm not accusing you of being entitled, but at the same time, no, fuck it, let's go down that route. Yes, you're very entitled. You are only disappointed and disheartened because you feel entitled to a certain amount of results given a certain amount of effort that you've put in. And I know how that feels. It feels disheartening, doesn't it? It feels very painful. I have been there a million times where I go, I've done 1,500 pieces of content. I deserve to have consistent income. I've poured my heart and soul into helping people. I deserve to have more views or more likes or more this or more that or an easier time of money. I have put in all this effort. I deserve to have more sex or easier sex or a better relationship or whatever. Like, I've felt that entitlement. I know how that feels. It's very fucking painful. But what I would love to see from you, my friend, is instead of the entitlement, you have this mindset. I have no expectations, only curiosity. The only reason that you feel disheartened and disappointed is because you had expectations. You told yourself, and you probably didn't realize you were doing this, but you subconsciously told yourself or believed that if I do X amount of work, I am entitled to X amount of success. No, that's not how that works. Also, you have no idea what it takes to be successful, like in dating. You obviously have an idea of what it takes to be successful in terms of the gym. You've done a great job there. Fashion, yep, you understand that. Having an attractive face, you understand that. But dating, no. And most guys have an incredibly unrealistic expectation of the numbers game and what it actually takes and how many times, like you say, I got a professional photographer. You might need to pay a professional photographer 10 times before you get great photos or try different photographers. Like, if what you're doing right now isn't getting you the results that you want, the only answer is go do more. It's not get disheartened. You can feel disheartened, feel whatever you want to feel, but the answer or the solution, the thing that will bring you peace and success and happiness and all of that, is not going, fuck, man, the results should be different to what they are. No, the results are exactly what they are. Again, I have no expectations, only curiosity. And so if I go and pay a photographer and I look really hot and I'm top 10% of men and I pay for Tinder Premium, I don't know if you've paid for Boost, but fucking do that. But if I've done all that and I don't get results, oh, isn't that interesting? I've learned something. Okay, back to the drawing board. What do I need to change? I probably need to put in twice as much effort. Let me do that. If that doesn't work out, isn't that interesting? Maybe I'll try putting in 10 times as much effort. If that doesn't work, okay, maybe I'll try something else. Maybe I'll go outside and talk to women. If that doesn't work, interesting. Okay, so that didn't work. All right, maybe now I'll pay Andy and ask him for a proper coaching call so he can give me proper advice, or I'll go learn from someone else, or I'll go take a bunch of friends with me and we'll go out clubbing and see if that works. Maybe I'll try meeting women through social circle. I'll try a bunch of different shit. And I won't have this expectation that my work has to guaranteed give me the result that I want. You have an idea in your mind of what you think the result should be, and that result turned out to be wrong, or that expectation turned out to be wrong. Like, you are literally factually wrong here, and now you're arguing with reality. You're saying, I put in this effort, I should have this result. Wrong. Incorrect. The proof is in the pudding. That is literally an incorrect statement. The amount of effort that you've put in right now, while beautiful and amazing, and I commend you for that, bro, you're amazing. You've done such a good job, but it is a factually incorrect statement. It is an illogical statement to say what I have done so far should get me the results. Wrong. Wrong. The evidence is right there. You said it yourself. I don't have the results I want with the effort that I put in. So you're wrong in saying I should have the results. I should be getting better, or I should have what I want. It's disheartening, which is an argument with reality. We're saying, I hate reality right now. I'm disheartened by reality. Why are you taking it personally? Again, I have no expectations, only curiosity. And if reality doesn't line up the way that I think it does, isn't that interesting? I'm going to be curious and figure out why. I'm going to figure out what I need to do. Maybe this professional photographer that took pictures of me, maybe he fucking sucks. Nothing against that guy, but like, maybe he's just taking photos for, like, he's used to taking corporate portraits or something, and he has no idea about dating. And maybe I forgot to check to make sure. I didn't read Andy's Tinder guide properly, where he said, here's a fucking checklist of how to vet to make sure your photographer is actually a good photographer for dating. This checklist, which is in my Tinder guide, Tell them what the photos are going to be for. They're going to be for Tinder and dating apps. Like, you're trying to look masculine, attractive, hot, cool, not cute or cuddly or nice, and certainly not fine or okay. Do they have experience shooting photos for dating apps? Do they have any proof that people have gotten more matches and more dates and more sex as a direct result of their photo shoot? Do they have testimonials from previous client? For example, here's some of mine, and I put them all over my coaching page and obviously on this YouTube channel. Can they show you examples of their work? Do they have multiple, make sure you bring a bag of multiple different outfits. So you're going to take a ton of different photos in different outfits, and hopefully you walk away with at least 6 photos that are really good. 10 would be better. When I used to do photo shoots with people for dating, I would aim to give them 10 god tier amazing photos, like blow your mind levels of photos. Was the photographer willing to take hundreds of photos, which is what I do when I go out and do a photo shoot with someone, which I don't do photo shoots anymore. But I mean, if someone paid me an obscene amount of money, sure, I'd do someone. If someone paid me 10 grand, then sure, I'd do a photo shoot with them. But I don't really do them much anymore. But when I did, I would take hundreds or really thousands of photos, and I would be patient enough to keep taking photos until we both agreed, holy fuck, these photos are life-changing. Like, these photos are absolutely going to get me more matches. And the previous question, how much time are they willing to spend on the photo shoot? Are you paying per hour or paying a fixed price? I only ever got people to pay me a fixed price, and I would spend the entire day with them. I would meet them at 8 a.m. in the morning, and I'd be like, bro, we're going to hang out till it gets dark, and we'll take photos. I'll walk you around and get you to talk to girls. I'll show you how to do that, how to approach. And we are not going to finish until we have at least 10 mind-blowing photos. And I'll coach you the entire time too. You can have free coaching. You can ask me questions about dating, sex, relationships, love, all of that. It's going to be an entire fucking day. And if you're not happy with the pictures or the results or whatever, we'll just spend the next day together too. I won't fucking leave until you're happy. Did you do that? Did the photographer do that? Or did you just pay per hour? Did they do things, and what things did they do to help you with your nervousness and help you be less awkward and less posed and less stiff? I have a whole bunch of techniques and stuff like that. But did they do that? Did they know how to edit your photos and make you look amazing and all of that kind of stuff? And so the point that I'm getting to here is, rather than saying, but I did a professional photographer, why didn't it work? You go, okay, it didn't work. Why didn't it work? Let's actually figure this out properly. Rather than sort of, I'm disheartened, I did what I was supposed to. You obviously didn't do what was required to get more results. And that is not a reflection on you. That is not a value judgment on you. But success, especially in dating, is literally just like following a recipe. If you're going to bake a cake, what do? You follow the recipe. If you baked a cake and it turned out really shit, you wouldn't be like, I don't understand. I'm really disheartened. How did this happen? Or you might feel a bit of disheartenment, but you would immediately be like, I obviously didn't follow the recipe properly. Fuck. What do I need to change? Or maybe the recipe isn't perfect. Fuck, should I try a different recipe? Go try a different recipe, bro. If you really tried with online dating and you've tried once, and as you know, you're going to keep trying and keep getting better and all of that. But if you say, I don't like this recipe, I'm not enjoying the online dating recipe, great, go outside. That's another recipe. Go to social events and meet up. That's another recipe. Go to sex clubs and fetlife.com and BDSM events and all of that. Meet people through that. That's another recipe. There's a billion different recipes that you can try, but you wouldn't get deeply disheartened because your cake didn't work out. You'd go, I obviously didn't follow the recipe accurately enough. Or maybe I'll go try a different recipe and follow that accurately enough. So start looking for solutions and what you can do to change. You're already coming up with one solution where you said, I'm going to keep getting better. Fucking amazing, bro. But if you are the way that you say you are, I'm a 7.5 in the face, I'm top 10% of men, I think, I'm 6'2", I can bench, I have good fashion. You're obviously attractive. You're probably really fucking attractive, bro. It's probably just that the photographer didn't do, or you didn't check, like I say in my Tinder guide. Maybe you hadn't read the Tinder guide, fair enough. Maybe you didn't realize the importance of everything I just said. But you and the photographer probably didn't go all in. If you were my client and I did photos of you, I would not rest until you got more matches. We wouldn't be having a discussion of you going oh, I'm disheartened, it didn't work. I'd be like, bro, fuck, let's do another photo shoot then. Or show me what you're doing on the app. Are you using boosts? Are you swiping on girls? What are you doing? How big is your city? Like I would get in there with you and I'd be like, "No, bro, we're going to fix this. Don't stress. Like we'll problem solve this." Again, you're welcome to hit me up for a coaching call for one of the $200 coaching calls, and I won't stop until we solve the problem. A lot of those calls go for like 3 fucking hours, even though you're paying me for 1 hour of my time. I will sit there for like 3 hours. I've had ones go for like 5 hours because I'm going to sit there until we solve the fucking problem. And so maybe the photographer didn't do that because you probably didn't ask him to or her. And so, yeah, that would be a solution. Like, I'm going to find a photographer that wants to fucking fix this with me, that basically guarantees me more matches, or that they will move heaven and earth and not stop until I get more matches. I say this shit to my coaching clients all the time. I have one guy in particular in the coaching group right now who's got a lot of like mental hurdles for him to overcome and a lot of doubts and fears and all of that in order for him to lose his virginity. And he's a couple of weeks into the program and he was feeling a little bit stressed. And he's like, fuck, man, like, what if I don't lose my virginity before the end of the coaching? What if I am not able to achieve it? And I was like, bro, then I'll just give you free you just stay in the coaching program for free until you lose your virginity. I don't give a fuck, bro. I don't care if I have to give you 6 months of extra coaching for free. It won't take him that long. But like, I was like, don't stress, bro. Like, we're going to do whatever it takes to get this goal of yours. Like, I'll just give you free fucking coaching for as long as it takes. And so find a photographer who has that mindset, or a dating coach. I'm right fucking here. I'm literally waving at you that I will fucking do that for you, and I won't quit until we solve your problem. Hi, can't make myself any more available, but yeah, find someone who will solve this problem for you. And again, start embracing that mindset of curiosity. I want to figure out why I'm not getting the matches rather than, oh, I'm disheartened. It's not fair. Why did this happen? I have this entitlement and this expectation. And so when that didn't come true, I believed I was supposed to put X amount of effort in. I did that and I didn't get the result. Oh, I'm disappointed. It's like, you disappointed yourself, motherfucker, with the expectation. And that's okay, brother. I have been there. I told you at the start of this video how many expectations I have had with so many goals. I've been a beautiful, sweet, insecure, entitled little shit, you know, for want of a less harsh way of phrasing it. I have been an entitled little shit at times, my friend. I have. I've had that beautiful childlike innocence, that part of me that goes, if I do X amount of videos, I should get X amount of clients coming into my coaching program. If I put X amount of years into coaching and my YouTube and my Spotify and business and all of that, I should get X amount of dollars. If I put X amount of months into the Tinder guide, you know, spend about 9 months on it, I should get X amount of clients. If I put X amount of months on the Play to Win video course, which I spent like just 3 months straight working on that bad boy for like 12 hours a day, I just shut myself inside and did nothing but work on that. If I do all of that, I should get X amount of dollars. And almost every time, reality has been different to what I thought that I was entitled to. Like, I've gotten less than what I thought I was entitled to. And I have felt all the disheartenment that you're feeling. Again, I've been that beautiful, innocent, entitled little shit who goes, I should just get what I fucking want because I put in X amount of time and X amount of love and X amount of effort. Give me what I want. And the universe is just like, nah, fam. I'm not going to give you what you want. Or I'll give it to you, but you have to do a little bit more. It just takes a little bit more. The recipe is a little bit longer than what you thought it was. And so again, I really, really, really understand the feelings that you are feeling right now of disheartenment. Brother, welcome to the club. Like, you and me both, brother, you and most of the people in the coaching, most of the people in the comment section, most of the people that email me, brother, we walk around and we disappoint ourselves with our entitlement, with our expectations of how reality should turn out and what should happen and all of that sort of stuff. We hurt ourselves. You know, there's a Byron Katie quote that I love. Nobody can disappoint me. I tell a story of how other people disappoint me, and I disappoint myself. Same here with this. Dating can't disappoint you, or Tinder can't disappoint you. You tell a story of how Tinder disappointed you, and you disappoint yourself. But if you had no expectations, and you were just like, let's fuck around on the dating app and see what happens, then there wouldn't be any disappointment. Without the expectation, you cannot be disappointed. Literally, it's impossible to be disappointed if you had no expectations. And so you can kind of almost think of yourself as a little scientist. You're like, I'm going to do some science experiments. Let me try going all in with my dating. Let me try the Tinder app. Let me try paying for boosts and messaging lots of women. And let me try. And by the way, don't just use Tinder, use Hinge, especially these days. People seem to have, including myself, a lot more results with Hinge, especially because you can pay for Hinge Premium and then you can preemptively message infinite women first before you've matched with them. So literally send them a message first rather than just click like and add a message, copy paste the same message, hey, you're really pretty, I'd love to get to know you if you're down for that. Whatever you want to fucking say, it doesn't really matter. But copy paste a whole bunch of messages, aim to message at least 100 women a day, minimum. 200 would be even better. That is playing the numbers game. That is going all in. Do that, dude, with the attractiveness that you say you are. And, if you have good pictures, again, I'm happy to do a call with you and you can show me your pictures. But message 200 girls a day. You're probably just not doing that. You probably just paid for Tinder Premium. I'm making a big assumption here, but I would assume you paid for Tinder Premium. Maybe you used one boost. You swiped on a couple of women. You barely get any matches. Use Hinge. Message 200 girls a day. I promise you'll get matches. Show me your pictures if you want to do a call with me and I can improve them for you or with you. But yeah, anyway, the point is, if you have a very curious mindset and you're almost like a scientist running a little science experiment, when you don't get the results that you expect, because you're a man or a woman of science, of rational logic, you're not butthurt over it. You're not disheartened and disappointed and entitled and all of that. You're just like, oh, okay, well, I'm a rational man or woman of science. And so the results weren't what I was expecting, but I'm trying my best to have no expectations. Okay, what would happen if I run a different experiment? What would happen if I tried something a little different? What would happen if I went on Hinge and did what Andy said and paid for premium or preferred membership, it's called, and I messaged like 200 girls a day and I do that for a week? What would happen then? Let's have a little mess around. Okay, that worked out or it didn't work out. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know what your pictures look like. I don't know how big your city is. Okay, that did or didn't work out. What if I go outside and run the experiment for a month of just walking up to a woman every day, one woman a day, and just saying, hey, you're really pretty. Are you single? I'm Lev the King. I'm an absolute fucking badass. I can bench press 225 pounds for a set of 5. She'll have no idea how much that is. She probably won't give a fuck, but you you say you're really pretty and I wanted to come say, hey, are you single? What if I run that experiment for a month and see what happens? I'll go talk to 30 girls in 30 days and see what happens. That's a fun experiment. Life is just a big experiment, my brother. I wrote this article here called This is All Just a Big Experiment. And this is the mindset that I would love you to start adopting, my brother. If you can see this self-improvement thing as an experiment, I'm going to fuck around, I'm going to try, I'm going to see what happens. Look at me covered in ice cream, and that was my girlfriend at the time, covered in chocolate. That was a fun photo shoot. But if you can see life as just an experiment, brother, I'm not entitled to results. Like a scientist, a true man or woman of science, tries their absolute best to take out any bias and any expectations of the result. And they just fuck around and experiment. They might have a hypothesis and they test it out. This was your hypothesis, my brother. Your hypothesis was if I can become a 7.5 and be in the top 10% and be 6'2" and bench press and have good fashion and pay a photographer to take some photos, I should get matches on Tinder. That was your hypothesis. It turned out not to be true. Maybe there was something you're missing. There probably was. Again, I'm happy to do a coaching call with you and I can answer this properly. I have no idea what you're missing right now. I have to fucking guess. Like, I don't know what you look like. I don't know your pictures. I can't go back and forwards with you. So just if you want to, hit me up for a call. But you did this hypothesis. It turns out not to be true. Cool. Let's try a different hypothesis. Let's go back to the drawing board and see what we need to change. In other words, every problem has a solution. And this is one of the chapters from my Play to Win video course where I talk about every single time you hit a snag or a roadblock or you go, fuck, I had an expectation and it hasn't turned out the way that I wanted it to. Awesome. Figure out a solution. What do I need to change to get back on track? And I'm probably preaching to the choir because you're already going to do this, brother. You said, I'm going to keep getting better. Yeah, again, you are because you're a fucking warrior, brother. You literally already said it right at the end. It's just that you're feeling some emotions along with this journey. I'm feeling disheartened. Yeah, because you disappointed yourself, brother. And that's okay. I, again, have done this a trillion times where I have an expectation. I've been entitled. It doesn't work out. The entitled, childlike, innocent part of me, my ego, goes, damn it, I put in the effort. Why, universe? Why haven't you given me what I wanted? Or I'll feel resentment towards other people and I'll go, why is no one signing up for coaching? Don't they understand that I could change their life? Don't they understand that I need money? Which I don't need money, but like, there's not, I could just go fucking live on the street and ask people for money if I really needed money. I don't need money from you guys. I would like money to allow myself to live this lifestyle, but I could go be homeless and survive and be okay. But there's that part of me that goes, I need money. Just like you saying, I need results. I need sex. I need dating. No, you don't. You'll be fine without it. But back to the drawing board, my brother. You didn't get some dates. You didn't get that many matches. Beautiful. Great. Adapt. Overcome. If you want more advice on that or more motivation on that from a big, juicy alpha male, go Google Jocko Willink Adapt Overcome. You know what I just said a second ago. He's got a video here. You've got to adapt and overcome. Subordinate your ego, keep an open mind, and adapt. How to not overthink. Act now with an adaptable plan. But especially the previous one, the ego one there, it is our ego that says, I'm entitled to these results right now. That's literally factually not a true statement, but we often get caught up in that, don't we? I do too. Again, I'm going to say this for the billionth time. My brother, I understand the feeling of disheartenment. Again, like I said, I put a year or two worth of effort into building up my blog and finally working up the courage to start a dating business. And I had a couple of clients, and then most of my clients left me as soon as we hit the pandemic and COVID and all of that nonsense, Basically all of my clients except for two of them left. And I was like, holy shit, this is disheartening. I finally took that leap of faith to start this goddamn business, and it was really difficult for me, and now everyone's fucking gone. I felt very disheartened and disappointed. Again, there's been a million moments since then that I have felt lots of disheartenment and lots of doubt and lots of fear and all of that. I promise you're doing a good job. Maybe it might seem like I was being a little bit hard on you here, but trying to say all this with love, my brother. But yeah, I get really fired up and passionate about this shit, bro, because you've done a really beautiful job. You've just had expectations and entitlement that is sky high, and that's okay. This is a beautiful opportunity for you to practice some humility and realize that the universe and other people and the world and Tinder and dating doesn't give you exactly what you want when you feel like you deserve it. I literally just did a podcast about this today, which I'll probably I'll put it in the description below for you. It's this podcast here. It's called Afraid of Being Rejected, Cheated on, Broken Up With, or People Dying. And it's not in the title, but part of what I talked about here is how we have expectations of how the world should work out. People shouldn't break up with me. They shouldn't cheat on me. They should be loyal to me. My family members, I don't want them to die. And we have this sort of like entitlement to how we think life, or this expectation would be a kinder way of saying it, of how we expect life to go. And I also talked a little bit about how we have expectations of self-improvement. And like, if I put in X amount of work, I should get X result. And it's like, sometimes that will be true. Other times, no. It turns out you weren't following the recipe the way that it was written, or you weren't following it to the very end of it. Maybe you skipped a couple of steps, or you just didn't realize certain steps were really important, or you thought you had done the step, but you hadn't really done it. To give a really good example straight to you, you say, I got a professional photographer. I'm making a bit of an assumption here, but I'm assuming you paid a professional photographer once. That's not what I say in the Tinder guide. I say this is an iterative process. You're going to have to keep taking lots and lots of pictures over a long period or a decent period of time. Like, I literally say it's an iterative process. Maybe you skipped that. Maybe you didn't realize that. Maybe you hadn't read the Tinder guide. Maybe that didn't really resonate with you. Maybe you have done a couple of photo shoots, but we had a different definition of what a lot of photos actually means. I have an article called How to Take Better Tinder Photos, and the very first step, other than like get a camera or get a professional photographer, is go take 1,000 photos to even just begin with. Did your professional photographer take 1,000 photos? If the answer is no, then you just didn't play the numbers game as much as I said. And once you've taken 1,000 photos, go take hundreds more each time, and then keep iterating on steps 2 to 5 ad infinitum. In other words, forever, until you have better photos, and you will continue to take better and better photos. I say always be improving your pictures and your fashion and all of that. Onwards and upwards. So, go take 1,000 photos, and then what do I say? Repeat that ad infinitum. if your first 1,000 photos, which you might not have even taken 1,000 photos yet, so you haven't even done the first step. You've done part of the first step, and that's brilliant, but you haven't fully followed the recipe completely. And again, maybe you just didn't see it. You probably just didn't see this. Or maybe you just didn't fully click of like, oh shit, when he says 1,000 photos, he actually means 1,000 photos, not just like 50 photos or 100 photos. You know, when he says spend years on your self-improvement, and it doesn't mean you have to wait years for the results, but when he says dedicate yourself to the cult of self-improvement, always aim to be better every single day, baby steps, continue that forever, you will always be learning, growing, and evolving until the day you die. Oh shit, he actually means forever. Like he actually means what he's saying. And he said to start with 1,000 photos and then repeat that for fucking ever until the results come in. Eventually you get to a point where you don't feel like you need to improve your photos anymore. I don't really improve my photos anymore. I haven't for a couple of years now, but he really does mean go take thousands and thousands and thousands of photos. There's that saying that says you never really get good at something or master something until you've put 10,000 hours into it. Have you, my friend, put 10,000 hours into your Tinder profile? The answer is probably no. Okay, then keep going. You probably don't need to put 10,000 hours. I don't think I have, but I've put thousands of hours. Like maybe I have put 10,000 hours over the years. I don't know, but put a lot of effort in. Same with going out and approaching. Same with anything, with business. Again, I used to feel, and I still every now and then sometimes feel a bit disheartened, not so much anymore, but I used to feel very disheartened with business and the fact that I didn't have as much money as I thought I was entitled to. I thought I'd put in a lot of effort. I'd done 1,000 pieces of content. Why don't I have the results? I've been doing this for 4 years. Why don't I have the results? And it wasn't until I actually went and listened to people who had made it and had become successful entrepreneurs and did feel comfortable with their money. And every single one of them that I learned from said basically the same thing. People like Gary Vee, Alex Hormozi, Pat Flynn, Seth Godin, any of these sort of people, they all said exactly the same thing. They said, put at least 10 years, dedicate yourself for 10 years to your business and you will be successful. And I was like, oh, fuck, whoops. I've only done 4 years. Huh. Why am I feeling disappointed then? I haven't done 10 years yet. Okay, keep going. And so when I get to 10 years, I've been doing this for about 5 years. So I'm halfway through. When I get to 10 years, then I can say, I followed what you said and I don't have the results that I want, but I'll probably have the fucking results that I want after 10 years, don't you think? Like that's double the amount of time I put in already. And I'm already at the point where it's like, yeah, we're doing pretty decent. We're doing okay. I don't have to stress about money and not sleep and all of that. We're working up to a point where we're pretty comfortable with money. We're not that far off that, I don't think. And so, yeah, 5 years from now, yeah, I'll probably be pretty fucking comfortable. And if I'm not, then I'll change something. I'll figure out which part of the recipe that I didn't follow or didn't listen to or didn't realize how important it was. Or maybe I need to slightly adapt the recipe. That happens sometimes. Like not all of my advice is going to be perfect for all of you. I make that pretty fucking clear. Experiment a little bit, try some stuff. But if you haven't fully followed the recipe or if you don't have the results, go back to the recipe and say, what did I miss? What have I not followed to the T? What could I do better? Don't wish that the results were different. Wish you were better. Don't wish it was easier. Wish you were better. Don't wish that you had more matches. Start getting to work and improving. And you're already going to do that because you said, I'm going to keep getting better. But yeah, my brother, you've done a really good job. Good job opening up about this, by the way. Really fucking good job. I, at the start of the video, wasn't trying to belittle, your suffering or any of that. Trying to give you some fucking connection, brother, and say, I felt all this shit, my man. I know exactly how you feel. Lots of my coaching clients feel like this. In fact, there's like 5 guys in the group right now who would be able to relate perfectly to your comment and be like, Jesus Christ, man, you're literally speaking my language. I've gone outside, like there's one guy that's gone outside and talked to like 150 women and hasn't had sex yet. Now, there are really big reasons why, but he was feeling really fucking disheartened, just like you. He's like, I've talked to 150 women, bro, and I haven't had a date yet. I'm fucking disheartened. I want to quit. I don't understand why this is happening. And I was like, okay, there's probably just some part of the recipe that you're not following. Let's get in there. Let's investigate. Let's see what's happening. And every single time I have ever asked someone, let's go through the recipe. Which parts are you not following? There is like some giant fucking massive hole that they're missing, or they had just an insanely unrealistic expectation of the numbers game, like I used to. You know, it's like, I've been working on business for 4 years. Why am I not comfortable with money? Because it's not 10 years. Everyone told you to do it for 10 years. Oh, whoops. Holy shit. So I only followed like 40% of the recipe. I still got to do the remaining 60%. Whoops. Ha. Whoops. And so, like, this coaching client that I'm talking about that's approached like 150 or so women and hasn't had a date, I say to him, we start going through the recipe, and I'm like, well, are you asking every single woman for a phone number when you're hitting on them? And he's like, yeah, I am. And I was like all of them? And then it comes out, you know, it clicks in his mind and he realizes, and he's like, well, not if I get the sense that they're not into me. And I'm like, but how do you know they're into you? And like, are you saying, are you into me? Are you saying, can I get your phone number and take you on a date? Are you saying, yo, do you like me? Are you asking? And he was like, no, I just get a sense that they're not into me. And I was like, what are you, a fucking mind reader? Like, you're inexperienced with this. How are you going to know if they're into you? I don't trust your opinion of if they're into you. I can't even tell if someone is into me. I can't tell you how many hundreds of times I've been surprised when I think someone is not into me, and then I just throw it out there anyway because it's a habit. I say, like, do you want to grab a drink sometime and we can get to know each other? And they're like, I'd love that. And I'm like, what? What? I've even said that to some women. I'm like, wait, really? And they're like, yeah, I'd love that. And I'm like, I got the sense that this wasn't going so well, that you weren't that into me. And they're like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm just a little bit shy and nervous. And you're like, oh, okay. So anyway, so I say to this guy, how often are you not asking for a phone number? And it turns out it's like 90 fucking percent of the time. We started getting him to keep a diary and a journal. And yeah, he would go out and talk to like 10 women. He'd go out clubbing and talk to 10 women, and all 10 of them, he would not ask for a phone number. And he'd come up with various different reasons or excuses or fears, basically. He'd say, well, this woman, like, you know, she looked like she was keen to get back to her friends. This woman here, I asked her a question about what she does for work, and she kind of just didn't give me a big answer, so that probably means she doesn't like me. This girl here, I asked if she was single, and she said yeah, but the way she said it, she wasn't super excited about a yes, so I got the sense she wasn't into me. This girl here, I got her phone number, but I texted her, and then I said, how was your night? She said it was great, thanks, but like, she didn't ask me how my night was, so that means she's not into me. And it was just like every fucking like reason that he could possibly come up with, his brain was coming up with to save him from rejection and save him from having to try and all of that. Like, our brains do funny things to us. But the point is, he wasn't even remotely playing or following the recipe. He was doing big chunks of the recipe. He was going outside and being incredibly courageous and talking to a ton of women. Some nights he would talk to 15 women a night. As a guy who's a virgin, that's insanely courageous. I can't imagine having that much courage at his age too. He's young. He's like 23 and a virgin. I can't imagine having that much courage. That's balls. That's like huge steel balls. And so he was following that chunk of the recipe, but everything afterwards, fuck no, he threw the recipe away. The recipe, I specifically tell people in all of my content, ask every single woman for a phone number. The only exception is if she says, I have a boyfriend, or I'm not interested, or please leave me alone, or no thank you, or I'm so busy I have to leave, I don't want to talk to you anymore. Like some literal obvious objectively true statement that she's not into you. Like if she literally says, I'm not into you, I'm not available, I have a boyfriend, please go away. Most women won't say, please go away, but, you know, would you mind leaving me alone? That's an obvious statement. Don't ask for a phone number. But every other woman ask for a phone number. No exceptions. He wasn't following that part of the recipe. And then what I say, every single time you get a phone number, message her, hey, it was cool meeting you, you know, thanks for the phone number. Then the very next message after she replies to that one, are you free on Friday at 6 p.m. to grab that drink? Are you free on Saturday sometime during the daytime to grab a coffee? Are you free on Sunday? Like you literally pitch the date that's the second thing that you say. Go straight to that. Don't fuck around. Don't waste her time. She's got shit to do. You got shit to do. Do you want to meet up with me? Yes or no? If the answer is no, that's beautiful. I hope you have a great life. I wish you all the best. Thank you for meeting me. It was lovely to meet you. And so you go straight for what you want, and you're honest about that, and you see if she wants it too. He wasn't following that part of the recipe. And so if we don't follow the recipe, then yeah, it's unrealistic to expect that the cake will turn out the way that the recipe said it would. The recipe kind of promises us, and I make no promises other than I guess the promise that I make is if you keep improving, yes, you will eventually get to your goals. I promise. That is a promise I can make. You know, unless you die in the next week or two and you don't make it. But if you just keep going, I promise you'll get there. But the recipe says, if you follow this, you'll get this result. You got to follow the recipe perfectly. And if we don't, because we missed something or we didn't realize the importance of something, which I've done that a million times, that's okay. But if we don't follow the recipe perfectly, then yeah, we won't get the fucking cake the way that the recipe described. And so my brother, Lev the King, go back to the drawing board, figure out what you need to do differently. I'm happy to jump on a $200 coaching call with you, bro. We'll sit down for as many hours as we need to and we'll solve this. You're also very welcome to be in my coaching program, and we could properly solve this for you. You know, we'd have 12 weeks to tackle this, and we would absolutely get you the life that you want and all of that. But links in the description below to all of that. Maybe we'll do one more comment before I finish this video. Actually, we'll blast through a bunch of easy questions. So is Cam working on more content for this channel? Cam has done a lot of videos for, our channel. Yes, he is. He's just been traveling and spending a bit of time with family and doing other things. And he has a couple of different jobs. He actually works like 3 different jobs, I guess, including working for me. I pay him for all that he does. But yes, he is going to do more content. He's been missing it actually. And he's said to me quite a lot of times in the last month, man, I really want to do more content. I really want to do a video, but he's just been busy. By the way, your comment really made him very happy. He might not tell you that, but he was very, very, very happy with your comment. It meant the world to him that you like what he has to say and you like his contribution enough to ask if he's going to do more. You really, really, really made his day. So I'm grateful. Cam's grateful. Thank you. Thank you for a nice compliment or comment, my friend. Adam Shanghai 2023 says, nice old school self-help fundamentals. Thanks, man. Thanks, man. I appreciate you. This is a video that I did that all of you who aren't members of the channel, you'll be able to see this in like a couple of weeks. It was called The 7 Pillars of Success, the ultimate guide to being successful. But this guy, Adam, gets to watch it early because he's a member of the channel. So if any of you are interested in that, I think it costs like $5 or it might be less. I think in US bucks, it's like a couple of bucks. You can just down below, there's a button that says like join the channel. And you basically get to be a channel member. You get to watch all of my videos early. Some of those are several weeks early. So hey, Adam, thanks. I appreciate that, my brother. Sasquatch 10 says, thank you for answering my question. I really appreciate it. Thanks, my brother. I appreciate you. That was on a video called I'm a Loser, a Virgin with No Friends, where I just gave a bit of advice to some of you. Carl JG19 says, after 30 years of trying to be something I'm not, I gathered the family together and said, I've taken care of you for 30 years. Now I'm going to take care of myself. Holy smoke, and off to the races I went. I had forgotten who I was. Now I remember. Don't wait, people. Be who you truly are. I love this comment so much. This is really beautiful. This is kind of the point of my entire channel, is for all of you guys and girls to figure out, who do you want to be? What is a life that is true and integrous to you? Because when you show up as you instead of who other people think you should be or who you feel other people want you to be, if you actually just be yourself, you can start to really love yourself and love your life and be grateful and all of that. And then you're able to share that love with other people. But if you spend your entire life trying to be who you think other people tell you to be, man, you just live a life of like resentment and you feel like there's a bunch of stuff you have to do and life feels like a chore, feels painful, feels like just not very rewarding. There's a book on this called The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying. A Life Transformed by the Dearly Departed. Highly recommend this book. It's absolutely amazing. If you want to grab it, grab a copy of the audiobook, which is read out. It's read by the author, Bronnie Ware, and she does an amazing job of reading it. It's really, 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 really well done. Such a beautiful book. But the number one regret that people have at the end of their life is, I wish I had lived a life more true to myself instead of the life that others wished for me. I myself did a 3-part series on this, really, really in depth. I talked for, 3.5 hours, more than 3.5 hours, about all of the different supposed rules or things that people told me that I had to do or expectations or any of that. All the stuff that I've just found doesn't really resonate with me, and how I've been able to live a life that's a little bit more true to myself. And that's been quite challenging at times. It hasn't, it's not like I'm just some fucking bad boy alpha male who doesn't give a fuck what other people think. No, That is absolutely not me. I really struggled with confrontation for the longest time. I still do sometimes. When people ask me for stuff, which some of you will ask me for stuff, I literally had this conversation today. One of my coaching clients asked me for something that I wasn't comfortable giving, like I didn't want to give, but I really fucking struggled to say no. I literally needed to talk it out with Cam and with Emmy first and remind myself, Andy, you're allowed to say no. Just because someone wants you to do something doesn't mean you have to. You know, you are under no obligation to do stuff you don't want to do. It's okay to have your own boundaries. You're not a bad person because you say no to someone. Like, I still to this day sometimes struggle to have boundaries. And so I'm not some confident fucking badass alpha male. You know, I know this thumbnail makes me look like a naughty little boy with my cool little shades, my glasses, my aviators, but I'm not some hardcore guy. And so this is how I've been able to live a life that's a bit more true to myself. Again, there's like part 1, part 2, and then if you scroll down, there's a third part down there as well. And yeah, I just go through all of the different areas of my life and how I've been able to maybe assert myself a little bit. And yes, some people have been disappointed in that. Sometimes someone had an expectation of me and I didn't follow through on that because I didn't want to. That wouldn't be honest with me or to me. And because of that, because I've done what I want, and I make sure everything that I'm doing doesn't hurt other people. That's like maybe the only caveat. I do what I want as long as it doesn't, you know, destroy someone else's life or harm them or something. But because I've been able to live a life that I want to live and that's true to me, I can show up here and have love for all of you. I can have love for Emmy. I can have love for my family and friends because I'm not living a life of resentment and going like, I have to do all this stuff, but I don't want to do it. And so the more honest and true we can be to ourselves, the more we're able to show up with love and give to other people and positively impact the world around us. In other words, the person whose life is happy just has nothing but happiness to give to other people. But then the opposite is true. Carl Jung, the famous psychologist and psychiatrist, said this: the healthy man does not torture others. Generally, it is the tortured man or the tortured who turn into torturers. In other words, if you fucking hate your life and you're doing a bunch of stuff that you feel like you have to do, that's when you go and leave negative YouTube comments and be mean to other people. That's when you snap at someone. That's when you then call your boss a dick. That's when you then start to be passive aggressive to people and talk behind their back. That's when you entertain thoughts of revenge and all of that kind of stuff. It's when you honk and scream at the person who cuts you off in traffic because you're not happy in your life because you've been doing a whole bunch of stuff that you don't really want to do, but you told yourself you have to do it. You have to be a martyr. You have to sacrifice. You have to, you know, compromise and do what other people want you to do. And then that comes out in passive aggressive or sometimes even just aggressive manners. But if you're truly, truly, truly deeply happy with yourself and you're truly, truly, truly living that life of abundance and joy and doing what you want to do, again, as long as it doesn't hurt other people, then man, you have nothing but love to give because you feel like you have everything you want. You've given it to yourself rather than expecting others to give it to you. You're living that life that's very true to you. And then you want to help other people live a life that's true to them. You want other people to have abundance and joy because you fucking have it. And so if you want that abundance and joy, give it to yourself. This book is probably the best book on how to give yourself that abundance and that joy. It's called I Need Your Love, Is That True? By one of my favorite people, Byron Katie. Look at this sweet old lady. Look at her cute little face. Isn't she such a sweet old little grandma? She is still alive and kicking. She still runs a weekly podcast where she literally does counseling and free coaching with people. She's done that for the last like couple of decades or the last like 50 years. You can go check her out on Spotify. Just search for Byron Katie. And yeah, she's an absolute warrior, but this book really helps with that. So again, amazing job, my friend, here with, you know, putting yourself first and saying, you know, I have looked after all of you. I'm very grateful for that time. I'm just going to spend a bit of time taking care of me and looking after me, giving myself a bit of love. Then you probably have a lot more love to give to the family, right? If you love yourself, you show up with that beautiful, youthful, energetic, wonderfully excited, happy, childlike, innocent mindset. And you know, you view the world as a very loving, kind place, and you just give that love back. So I really love this comment, really beautiful. And then we'll do one more. So this was on a video I did called I'm a 31-year-old kissless virgin. It's my shameful secret. And I answered a few different questions on this one. And one of the people that I responded to and did a question, the Dream Strider, he said, excellent work responding to everyone that shared their concerns and problems on the original video. Andy, we appreciate it. Yeah, there are a ton of you that replied. There was like 30 or so of you. So good job to all of you for opening up about the things that are stressing you out and the doubts that you have and all of that. And for the most part, all of you took everything I said with deep humility, and you really, really listened. Most of you, like some of you even took notes, and you did an absolutely amazing job. Like really, really, really good job opening up, and then really, really, really good job taking on board the feedback and the advice and all of that. I know it can be a little bit challenging sometimes with maybe some of the ways that I phrase things might challenge the ego a little bit. Maybe sometimes I can be a little bit blunt, some of that beautiful autistic honesty, but I say everything that I say with love. But I know that sometimes our brains or our egos don't want to hear things in a certain way. Like sometimes we just want someone to be like, yeah, you're right. It does suck. Like, poor you. And I'm never fucking ever, ever going to say poor you or that sucks, because that just keeps you in the victim mindset. I don't want that. I want you to change your life. But the point is, most of you take most of the advice that I give with deep humility. And that can be a challenge. And I'm fucking proud of you. I'm not always a deeply humble person. There are tons of times people would give me advice and I'd just be like, screw you. You can't talk to me like that. And it's like, fine, fuck you then, Andy. I'm not going to help you. If you're not going to take my advice well, then why the fuck would I ever give you more advice? So all of you are doing a beautiful job of, humility. So it goes on to say, focus on what you want to focus on now. I will, my friend. I mean, I just talked about that a few seconds ago, didn't I? I like to do what I want to do rather than what others want me to do. But yeah, if you're interested, I know you didn't ask, but I am probably going to make another video course, like the Play to Win video course, and it's going to be on confidence, like how to be confident, how to build confidence, what confidence even means, what confidence is. A lot of people have a very big misconception about confidence. They think that confidence means that you're never scared. No, it is literally the opposite of that. It's that you're scared, but you don't give a fuck because you're okay with it, because you've been scared before and you've sat in that enough times to know that nothing bad happens just because you're a bit scared, and that everything will work out and everything will be okay. That's confidence. So it's not the absence of fear. That would be psychopathy or some brain injury or something. It is feeling the fear and doing it anyway. In other words, you're not confident and courageous because you don't feel fear. No, you're confident and courageous because you feel the fear and you act anyway. So I'm probably going to do a big video course about that. I've already written the notes. It's going to be sort of roughly the same format as the Play to Win video course. Like I've broken it up into 8 chapters already. I've already started work on it. No timeline for when I'm going to finish it. I am probably going to charge the exact same amount as I do for everything else, like pay whatever you want, even if that's just $1. There is a part of me that would love to charge more. Like I used to charge $200 for my threesome course, and that made a decent amount of money. I was selling about 2 of them a month, so I was making like $400. When I put it down to $1, yeah, I make fuck all money in comparison, like maybe $30, $50 a month max. So you definitely make less money, but I do like the idea of having all of this stuff, pay whatever you want, because it means that nobody comes along and goes, fuck, I can't afford your paid shit, Andy. It's like, you can afford $1. Everyone on the planet, fucking child, could afford that. So I will probably make it $1, even though it means less money for me, which means I got to do more content, or I want to do more content, help more people, do more coaching, all of that. I like the idea of making it $1. Anyway, side tangent. So that's what I'm going to focus on if you care. I'm still doing the 365-day project, so there's still going to be tons of content coming out here and all of that, yeah. So he goes on to say, I will reach out to the people that I trust to hold me accountable. While it's not a lone wolf ego thing, it's absolutely inefficient to keep trusting myself, or only myself, and doing it 10 times easier sounds nice. While the coaching program is comically outside my price range, even with plans like payment plans, I am planning on investing into the one-off call when I get the money together to do it, and I'll let you know how implementing accountability worked at that time. Brilliant. Yeah, get some more accountability. That can be me, that can be other friends, but yeah, as you already said, like doing this shit alone just makes it 10,000 times harder. Like it really does. Like I went for such a long time just trying to do everything by myself, and for me it was a lone wolf ego thing. And it was me wanting, it's just that little part of you, that little childlike part of you that's like, no, I can do it myself. I don't need help. I don't want to be a burden. It's fine. Sometimes it can be almost like a shame or a guilt thing that stops us from asking for help and having accountability, because we're like, I don't want to put a burden on other people. And say, all right, fine, but then your goals are going to take 5 years longer than they need to. Like everything is going to happen way more painfully than it has to, because you don't have someone to pick you up when you're down. You don't have some friends or coach or whatever to encourage you and tell you that you can make it and hold you accountable and be like, come on, bro, like, how can we get you out there doing what you want to do? You don't have any of that. And so you're having to use your own willpower and discipline and all of that, but there's no one keeping you accountable. Nothing bad happens if you go and play video games or jerk off to porn or something for the entire weekend. Nobody even knows that you're doing that because you have no accountability. But as soon as you get some accountability, if your friends notice or your coach or whatever notices, hey, you haven't done what you said you were going to do. Is everything okay? And you're like, no, I jerked off to porn all weekend. And you're like, sweet, man, that happens. All right, how do we fix this? What safeguards do we put in place? How do we get you living a life of abundance and joy and doing what you want rather than porn? Do we need to help you work through the addiction? Like, how do we solve this fucking problem? And you start solving it and you go, holy shit, I would have just jerked off to porn for the next fucking 3 years and beaten myself up and spent a lot of time doing that instead of working on my goals and doing what I wanted. I would have been a little addict and not being able to address that. But because you fucking helped me with this, my friends or my coach or whatever, we solved the porn problem in like, I don't know, a month, 3 months, 6 months, depends on, how addicted you are or whatever your vice is. But the point is you solve it. You solve the fucking problem. So yeah, man, get some accountability, even if that's just some friends or an online forum of other people working on the same thing. Doesn't matter. Just like someone that will keep you accountable. If someone has achieved the goal that you want to achieve, that's way better, obviously. Like find people who've already succeeded. But if you can't find that, I mean, you can find that. There's that everywhere. But even just having some friends that are currently working on the same goal is at least like you've got some brothers in the trenches with you or some sisters in the trenches with you. And you can be like brothers in arms. All right, let's wrap up. It's been an hour. There's a few more comments that I'll respond to, but I'll probably break them up into a second video. But I appreciate all of you who are pretty good at fucking humility, even though sometimes I go fucking hard with you and I'm like, hey, you're being an entitled little shit. I didn't say that to any of you, but I talk about my own entitlement and all of that. I know sometimes it can be a little bit confronting to hear all of that when maybe you're expecting someone to pat you on the head and be like, oh, poor boy or poor girl. Wow, this really sucks. Again, I'm never fucking going to do that because that just disempowers you, even though that is what the ego part of our brain sometimes wants. We want sympathy. We want someone to feel sorry for us. We want someone to tell us, oh, yeah, that does suck. Oh, that's awful. But that doesn't really help us. So I appreciate how well pretty much all of you are able to take on feedback and be deeply humble, and you take the advice and you go and improve your life. And that makes me very happy. I really like seeing all of you get to work and change your life and work on things and be courageous. You inspire me a hell of a lot. You're all absolutely amazing human beings. If you want my help with any of this, you know where to find the Play to Win video course. You know where to find the coaching. I'm happy to do those $200 one per person coaching calls with some of you if you got some questions and you got some struggles and all of that. As always, ladies, gentlemen, go out there, crush those goals, have a bloody good time doing it. You are all absolutely bloody fucking legends.